Welcome to part 3 of how to do science. Ooh, I didn't think it was going to be this long, so cool for our videos. In this video, we are going to learn how to communicate our results using the CER method: claim, evidence, reasoning. All right. How do we communicate our results? We use the CER method in this class. You've probably heard of it before if you had me, or if you have not had me, I'm sure you have done it before. CER is just a way to write a scientific explanation, aka an answer. It's nothing scarier than that. It's just a format. And it is a way to keep your answer focused, on track, so that you get all the points or your point across. Really, in real life, using this is the best way to win any argument. So, first part of your CER explanation is the claim. What do you know? All that is the answer. For example, in the experiment that we did in the other videos about the leaves, it would be yes, leaves grow bigger, or no, leaves do not grow bigger in the shade. Just the answer, one sentence. The evidence part of CER is how do you know that that's the answer? And you get your evidence from your data, from an experiment, from research, a research paper. You can get it from a diagram. You can get it from anywhere that it is known evidence and reliable evidence. The more evidence you have, the better your claim is. This is the most important part that I want you to notice right here, is that, I don't know where my thing went. Not all data Not all data is considered evidence. Just because you have learned everything there is to know about leaves does not mean that you need to put in every single thing you know about leaves if it has nothing to do with the question being asked. So in this case, the more is not better unless it is for sure relevant evidence to your claim. And the last part, and this is the part that I know everyone is the most excited for, is the reasoning. And this is, how does your evidence connect to your claim? How does it support your claim? Basically, all of the stuff that you put here, how come it made you know that this was the right answer? And the biggest thing that needs to go here is your science knowledge. So if you're talking about some data that you collected and you said the two populations are different from each other, this is where you are explaining, because you're so smart and knowledgeable and you're learning so much in AP Bio, why was that the answer that we got? What is the science behind that answer of your evidence that then led you to talk about your claim? This is going to be the longest part of your answer. So I'm going to kind of walk you through what a CER looks like. So here's our question from the previous example, the previous videos. Does leaf size differ in populations growing in shade versus full sun? What is our answer to that? Well, this is the data that we collected, and we know now what this means. And they're different populations from each other. The shady ones on average are bigger. They have a mean width compared to the sunny ones, the leaves. So our answer is yes. Leaves grown in shade are larger than, I'm not going to write the link, than leaves that grow in the full sun. Okay, how do we know that? What's our evidence? And so where do we get our evidence? From our data. So what would we put here? I'm just going to bullet point it for now. We can talk about the shady leaves have an average of a little over 7. And the sunny leaves, the average is around 6. You would also want to add in your stats. So you know that those two are different, that this is significantly different statistically because the standard error bars do not overlap. And then you're going to describe what that means. Let's see, is there anything else? Nope, that is basically our evidence for this one based off of our experiment. So our justification of the evidence. How do we tie this all together? Well, this is where our science comes in. We haven't learned anything about this, so we're gonna like kind of make guesses, but you would be doing this while you're learning information. So for example, we know that photosynthesis requires light. We know that the larger the leaf is, the more area to absorb light. We know that the shady leaves aren't getting as much light. So then we can conclude, and this is what you would write, is because of these things, because it needs light for photosynthesis, because the larger the leaves are, the more areas available to absorb the light in the chloroplasts, and since the shady leaves are not getting as much direct light, it is more ideal as an adaptation for them to have larger leaves so they have a chance of absorbing more sun at times when there may be bright light. So notice here, this is just an outline. Your answers, when you actually do this, it's not going to be outline format. So you're not going to write claim and then write it, and then evidence and then write it. It is going to be a paragraph, and it's going to be in sentences. You're going to put it all together. And that is CER. That is how you're going to answer every explanation, every answer that any question that needs an explanation, it needs to be in this format, and you will get full credit every time, I promise.